goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Day one of the daily live stream during Musikfest from Godfrey Daniels. And our guests are from Godfrey Daniels, Ramona LaBarre, and from ArtsQuest, Ryan and Addy Young. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Philip Reese, and this is your next favorite band. And it's the most wonderful time of year, isn't it, Ramona?
It absolutely is. Right here in the Christmas city.
In the Christmas city, we have our own kind of Christmas in August, if you will. We have our 10-day free, ungated music festival called Musikfest. They definitely workshopped that name for a very long time.
They did. Is this the 30th?
40th anniversary.
I'm not that old.
So super excited for that. As always, a wonderful lineup of, I heard from Patrick Brogan the other night, we did our preview show, 457 bands this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Across 10 days, 15 free stages, one headliner stage, and it's, we talk about it every time, like there's a reason why we seem to be so enamored with it. It's incredibly well run.
It is.
It's got obviously the great music, but also great food, nice drinks, camaraderie. It's safe. It's clean.
Includes visual arts.
Yes.
The vendors, the crafters.
Includes comedy.
Yes.
So it does have obviously music in the name, but it supports many different types of art and performance. Dance often comes up as well. That there's last 3 years there's been a drag show. Which is very, very cool. So, and in fact, our guests from ArtsQuest this afternoon are going to talk about also the develops being made in the area of accessibility and inclusion for people who might have special needs.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great
so
stuff.
Important.
Right off the top here, let's just say thank you again. I mean, it's so wonderful to have a very, very cool and very safe space that's close to the festival grounds to be able to do this every day. So thank you so much for letting us.
It's our pleasure, Philip. We're happy to have you here. Thank
to
you
post up here. So yeah, no, this is wonderful.
Our little empty room. You know?
Yes, empty only for this week.
Happy to share it with you.
But from 3 to 4 every day during the festival, you can tune in on the live stream here, and we're gonna do our picks of the Platz. So. We'll have a couple picks here. We'll get to that in a second. And then we're going to touch on weather where we need to. So, like, for example, today there's a threat of thunderstorms. So I'll give you the latest from Bobby Martrick from EPAWA Weather Authority.
Technology.
Right? And then we'll have some banter.
Okay.
But I wanted you to be up here for the beginning so that I could say thank you off the top. And then I figure, why not have you kind of chime in on some of the music we've got coming on? So that's kind of the rundown there, and no one wants to hear me just yabber on the whole time, so let's get right into it. Okay. Today is opening night, so it's August the 4th, 2023, and it's day one of Musikfest. And each day, like I said, there's 15 free stages. Music starts on this day at 5. A lot of days it starts at noon. Right. So there's stuff going on. Actually, by the time I go on, some days someone who I'm recommending as a must-see has already performed. So that'll happen tomorrow, actually.
Will they be coming by here too?
What's that?
Will they be coming by here after they?
One will be. On Sunday, Max Swan will be coming by after he had performed.
Great.
But tomorrow is the Steelworkers Polka Band that I just think everybody should make time to go see. Because they play from 12 to 3. Obviously, they take breaks. But, I mean, that's the foundation of the festival.
Yes.
And you kind of owe it to honor that music. Yeah. Stop by, go grab a bratwurst and a beer, and go listen to some polka music.
Hey, the polka tent is in its 40th year, too.
That's right. And it should be. It absolutely should be. It should never go away. So that's tomorrow at noon. So like I said, I'll be talking about it, and by 3 o'clock you will have missed your chance. So I kind of wanted to mention that. But let's talk about today.
Okay.
Today we have, these are our kind of picks of the plots. So this year what we decided to do was actually highlight one band per day to say we called it the fave of the day. Great. And so that's the one we're saying, definitely don't miss that one. And then after that, there's 5 others that we're saying, and if you're down there, these are the other people you should definitely give a kind of a check it off in the app and maybe go see it. And again, maybe you don't like my style of music. Totally get that. I'm not saying these are the only ones. There's definitely tons of great music every day.
I was just going to say that's good guidance.
Yeah.
Really.
Right. It's just a place to start in case people are just like going down for the festival and not even knowing where to go. Then check out these recommendations. So we're going to share some of the sounds too. So in addition to the Groove Merchants, we also have here Seth Witcher, who's performing here in November.
November 29th.
Yeah, that's
Sunday.
so cool. And he's, spoiler alert, part of the Godfrey Daniels Day at Musikfest. Yep. We'll get into that when we when I pivot this way.
Okay.
And then Alana Mars, Swamp Guard, The Tribe, and They're There. So let's start with the Groove Merchants. Local band now would be Philly-based, but all went to Kutztown. So they kind of cut their teeth here in the Lehigh Valley between the Fun House and, other types of festivals and so on. The last 2 years, they've done the night before Thanksgiving, a turkey jam, where it's them and Trouble City All-Stars and a lot of other stuff goes on. It's a very fun night. But I wanted to feature this particular track here because it's from their... They did a recording in a barn because they're so good live that they're that type of band that when you hear a studio recording of theirs where they lay tracks, it somewhat doesn't capture the spirit of who they are if you go see them live. And this definitely does. So this is a song of theirs called Taste. And I think it does a really good job. And this is the what you're going to see. They're on tonight at 7. Oh my gosh, that's so little. 7:30 on the Platz stage. I'm going to have to come up with a better way to deal with that. Big magnifying glass or something. But anyway, so they're on that Platz stage, and they're a 9-piece tonight.
Wow.
So it's the band, a horn section, organs, backup singers, and so it's going to sound something like this.
Great.
Do you know how I feel? Can you tell me if this is real?
Very awesome bluesy sound to them.
Going down.
He's so young for that.
Yeah. And he's been like this. I have a good story about him.
Sleep all day, out all night, just to try to do it.
And the horns are just incredible.
When I'm gay, just so that they remember my day.
Ty Vallone's the lead singer. And he came during the live stream last year, the Daily.
Okay.
He was on one of the days, played a live song for us and had a great interview. And I shared this story with him that day as I was walking around Musikfest. It was probably 2015, 14 maybe. And I just saw him and I recognized him. And I wasn't a show, I was nothing. I just was a patron. And I just walked up to him and I was like, hey, you're the Groove Merchants, right? And he was like, yeah. And I guess, I don't know what age he would have been, but he was obviously much younger than
Is he
even.
a teenager then?
Possibly.
Yeah.
And he sounds like this then,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
And it was his mother that was with him. I didn't know, but so just she starts like beaming with pride and all this other stuff. And I just thought it was such a fun story. But another fun thing I wanted to mention is they have this phrase for this, so don't at me. It's called stank face. So you can see him as he sings. He kind of gets into the spirit and kind of makes that I smelled bad cheese face. And so they call it Stank Face Friday. That they will actually take pictures that were taken of them with those types of faces during like concerts and performances and post it on a Friday to just kind of promote whatever they've got going on. And today being a Friday and this being opening night and a 9-piece out there, it's going to be the stankiest faced Friday in the history of faces. But
Yeah, they played here too
that's awesome.
years ago.
It would be a
I'm
great
sure
space for them,
The
for
first time I heard
sure.
him sing was he had to be a teenager. So did they all come from Bethlehem, or has he built the band since he left?
That whole band formed in Kutztown University.
Okay.
And
he grew up here, right?
yes.
Ty? Yeah.
Yes. And so they have stayed together and then added two. And it's just gone from there. And I think their sound is amazing. So another local, Seth Witcher, like we talked about, he's going to be performing here and on their stage. So I just think he's such a great soul. Like, he's just a very good person to know.
He is. He's a good human being.
Absolutely. And he's got great music, a great voice. He's got, I would call it pop sensibilities. Like, his music, it catches your ear, but it's not pop music.
Right. He's outstanding, really.
Yeah, and so this is a song that's a little bit less in the poppy vein, but I just thought it showed off his guitar playing, his lyrics, and this was a video he created during COVID, and he asked for fans of his to just send quick little snippets of themselves and however they're feeling, because the song is called "We're All Human."
I made this in my room!
I hurt sometimes, but I don't feel the pain. You feel so different, tell me what's your name. My vision's clearing, but I don't feel the same. It'll take some time, but really what's your game? This is you, and this is
I
me.
think he also has like this, you've heard it there a lot, where he knows how to use a non-word, like just a verbal grunt or whatever you want to say, and I just think it's very, very interesting and cool and whatever. So anyway, there's Seth Witcher. Two others we wanted to just kind of highlight here. Swamp Guard is another local band. Look at this. We're really featuring the hometown headliners.
That's great.
So Swamp Guard has this song called Death of Me, which to me, every time I hear it, I'm like, how is that not popular radio fodder? Because I think it's incredible. And then they do have other songs too, but this one always just kind of just scratches that part of my brain that really wants some of this. So here's Swamp Guard's Death of Me.
See you later. See you tonight when the moon is shining bright. All alone. Won't be much longer until the moon falls away and the sun comes up. Find me later on, I'll be waiting at home. 'Cause it's the jealousy that gets inside of me, and it takes control. Look inside to see what you can find, and where my heart lies. You are the death of me. You are the death of me in my eyes.
Sorry, I was just laughing. There's always that moment where someone knows they're walking in front of a camera and they just think if they shrug their shoulders a little bit, it makes them invisible. Anyway, and then they like scoot a little bit faster. But anyway, it just cracks me up. I forgot to mention, so Seth Witcher is on at 5:30 on Platz stage, which is your stage too.
Yeah, on Sunday.
He's going to get comfortable with it. I think he has a bunch of other sets throughout the week, but tonight 5:30 Platz, and then Swamp Guard's on at 7 on Platz as well. They must go back to back. So there you go. Also back to back, and my very close second choice for tonight is another band that I absolutely adore, and rare for me is that it's a cover band. It's very odd for me to kind of dedicate an entire set of music, let alone a guest of the show. So this was someone who the whole band came on. It was amazing. It's a band called They're There. They're out of New York City, and they are a tribute band to Radiohead. And I'm a huge Radiohead fan. And when I saw that, like, you see tribute to 80s music or ABBA or whatever, you're like, definitely, yacht rock, whatever, like people can do that. Radiohead's a very, very complicated ask. And I was just like, oh, maybe it's going to be more acoustic or whatever. They're going to sing their songs in their own style. And I just figured, all right, I'll definitely go check it out because I like the music that much. And I walk up to the tent last year, and within 10 seconds, I was already completely enamored with who they were and what they were doing and how they were pulling it off. I don't know. Okay. But they are full on, in the best way of the word, nerds of Radiohead, to the point of knowing what gear they used and how they created that sound, what fuzz pedals to use. And so, giant applause to who they are and how they pull it off. But this is a recording I took from last year of the Radiohead song Weird Fishes, and this is They're There, tribute to Radiohead. Love hearing the crowd sing along too. I'm actually just getting chills now, knowing, again, like the whole crowd being into it and how good they are. The fact that that's tonight, I can't wait. Like, I've been looking forward to this since last year.
They have such a big sound. I've never heard them. I've heard of them, but I've never heard them.
Yeah, and so if you know Radiohead, you're going to be blown away by how good that is. If you don't know Radiohead, you're still going to think the music is amazing. That's what I find them to be. Another kind of the type of tribute band I'm much more into is the one who doesn't try and turn it into a cartoon. But I get it with 80s music, or again, yacht rock, whatever. Totally lean in on that and make it a party and have a good time. But the fact that they're not trying to turn this into some kind of cartoonish Radiohead cover band, I think it just is like, bet you people walk up thinking it's their music. Yes, so good. They had so many people in that tent. That was the Zinsenplatz tent. People started moving the chairs out of the way. And then they still ran out of room, and they were just basically on the sides all the way out to where the food tents are. That's people were just
standing room.
All standing room. It was so cool. Anyway, so that's tonight. They're on the Platz stage this year. So like I said, back to back. It's Groove Merchants at 7:30. They're there at 9:30. So you'll find me at Platz today from 7:30 on. And I just can't wait for those two. That's just two incredible Musikfest experiences. Again, all free and all on that beautiful stage that they added last year that overlooks things.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and this is a good pivot here. So last year we hosted our Winter Wonder Jam here at Godfrey Daniels, and They're There did a cover of Winter Wonderland, which Radiohead did. So they basically mimicked that Radiohead version of that song. And that was like our opening music for that event. Yes, so a thank you to you for that as well. And hope we can do that again this year.
Plan on it.
Yeah, that's it's just such a cool thing. And we've got some really kind of cool special plans in the work for that episode already this year. It should be quite exciting. One of them is that this is a Martin here that will get raffled off. At that event, but let's focus on yours because you're also raffling off a Martin during Musikfest. I have an image of the one here from the wall.
Oh, thank you.
So we can just show it to people. That I took right before going live.
Right.
That's a Martin that's going to be raffled off this week.
Yeah, so it's the model D16E. We raffle one of these off every year at Musikfest, and that's been going on for 20 years. We're honored, actually, that ArtsQuest Musikfest provides that stage for Godfrey Daniels to program.
Yes.
Every year.
Yeah, so I was actually going to bring up your site to kind of show not only, let's start with who's playing this year, but then we have other things we can kind of show off of that. So there's they can get raffle tickets here through the site.
right?
So there it is.
And that'll be going into next week. At some point, we'll cut it off, though, because we would like to see you and sell you raffle tickets in person.
Yes.
On Sunday, August
So let's talk about
13th.
this. August 13th, it's the second Sunday of Musikfest.
Yes.
And here's the deets. So we talked about Seth Witcher. He's opening up the set at noon.
Yes.
Lily Aniel at 1:30.
Do you know Lily?
I do not.
So she's a very powerful singer. She'll bring her jazz trio that day.
Excellent.
And she played here last year, and she'll be coming back in January of 2024.
That's so cool that you like. So that's the first two people they're playing that day, and then already scheduled to come back.
Yeah, that's actually one of our purposes for this day, or a way that we try to utilize it to the maximum is to maybe have artists that people aren't quite so familiar with. And I'll say even artists who have been on our stage but didn't draw a whole lot of
Sure.
people.
Perhaps maybe someone's next favorite band.
Yes, exactly. So, we put them in on a festival stage, and people are there.
Of course.
And then they come
Yes.
and see them again. So
That's awesome. What a great idea. 3 o'clock, Mark Stewart.
Mark Stewart is a singer-songwriter from Nashville. He's married to Stacey Earle, who is Steve Earle's sister. And Stacey Earle and Mark Stewart toured for 20 years, and they made their stops here as well. Now Stacey is at home caring for her aging mother, and Mark is on the road solo. He's a gifted and talented artist, and before the pandemic, we were seeing him about every year, and I thought this would be a good use of the stage to get him in front of a few more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know Joe Cerati?
I do not. So 5 o'clock, the Joe Cerati Trio.
So Joe's from New Jersey, string band. We're real excited to have him at Musikfest, and we're hoping to have a date with them.
To bring him back again. Yeah.
And actually, I got an email from them just a few weeks ago. They're bringing a banjo player, so they're not a trio.
They're a quartet.
They're a quartet, but everything was
Hang
gone
on,
to print.
I'll fix this.
Everything was gone to print, so couldn't make that change.
Well, yeah, it could be you know what? There's actually the band We Banjo 3, and it has 4 members.
Oh.
So that's just what they're embracing, especially since it's a banjo.
Yeah. Well, the more music on stage, the better, right?
That's absolutely correct. And then 7 o'clock, Alice Howe and Freebo.
Yes, so that's our headliner. Alice Howe is a wonderfully gifted songwriter with a fantastic voice. And Freebo, of course, worked for many years in the Bonnie Raitt Band as her bass player.
Right.
And he has produced Alice's last 2 albums, and they're definitely a great musical partnership. Her new album she's bringing along, they recorded at Muscle Shoals.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So before closing out the website, I always want to bring up this part where you can become a member, which is a huge supporting endeavor, and it's something that really helps a nonprofit, which that's probably something we should make sure we always point out.
Sure.
Godfrey Daniels, a nonprofit listening room venue.
Yes.
And always, like you just talked about, because it's a nonprofit, you can choose to make the decisions around bringing on the right artists, not the ones that would necessarily sell the most.
true, it's about art.
You'd like to sell the most,
Well-
but it's more about bringing the right musicians in.
Art versus strictly entertainment.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, Godfrey's is going into its 48th season next
Yes.
month. We're making plans for a big celebration for the 50th anniversary in a few years.
Awesome.
The membership program has been going on since the early 70s. And the organization, the venue, is supported by memberships in much the same way as public television and radio.
Yeah.
So we rely on our members.
And you can see here it's as low as $60.
Yes.
Which is $5 a month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there.
Yeah, and some premiums. It's a pretty big ticket discount if you're a member.
Sure.
$4 off a ticket. And
Yeah.
the higher level membership you are, the more tickets you can apply that
Right.
discount to.
But just knowing that the organization could count on certain money is huge. And then if ticket sales generate more revenue, that's when you have special things going on. But if you know you at least are able to operate with a certain budget, it's huge. So if you're out there and you care about music and you want to be able to support the venue, become a member.
Come visit the club, and then you will want to become a member.
That's exactly
it's having
right.
the experience in this room.
Yeah.
This magic room.
Artists say that too. Like they when I interview them and they have played here, everyone talks about how special a place it is. I mean, it is very intimate in that you're going to be performing, it's just a very short, you could almost shake hands with the front row if it's set up that way. But the acoustics are special, the energy is special. You obviously, the quilt is a very special thing. And
it has a story behind it, and I won't talk about that right now. You'll have to come to a show to find it.
But the one cool thing that I always like to point out is stitched in it is an actual song, How Legends Are Made.
Yep.
By John Gorka.
Yes, correct.
So all of that is kind of like, let's even tell like people to go buy the book that tells those stories.
Yep. The Welcome to Godfrey Daniels. It's our history, and it was written by Dave Fry. He worked on it starting in 2015, and we released it last December. And it is a treasure of a book.
Yeah, Dave Fry, one of the founding members of Godfrey Daniels, probably on the Mount Rushmore of Bethlehem musicians.
Yes. Yeah, that's Dave.
So yeah, definitely all of that would be great. And so we learned become a member of Godfrey Daniels. Get down there for Sunday to see all that great music.
Spend the day with us.
Buy a bunch of raffle tickets. Win a Martin potentially. And have a great day.
Yes.
And then after becoming a member, then you can come to the club multiple times after that to see great music all year round.
Yeah.
How'd I do?
Thank you. Great. You covered it.
Like a hype man. Anything else you wanted to promote, touch on, make sure we got there?
No, come in, check it out. We reopen in September. We kick off with the Kennedys, who are also bringing a new album.
Very cool.
Pete and Mar Kennedy, who have been coming to the club for 30 years, just about. It's a long history.
Yes.
So, yeah. And actually watch for new artists in our coming season.
That's so cool.
We're adding comedy to the programming. We're looking at hip-hop.
Very cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Really exciting.
Yeah, that is great. I know that's something we've had a lot of conversations about, so happy to kind of hear that's taking shape. Cool. Well, Ramona, again, first and foremost, thank you for all of the great opportunities to set up here.
Philip, you're so welcome. This is, you're such a friend to the music community and to the artists. It means so much. It means more. It's hard to put it into words.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Your support and the support of other people like yourself who are doing this kind of work.
Wow. Well, thank
you.
Out
of the generosity of your heart. Yeah, it means a lot.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And it's the least I could do. Like, they're doing such wonderful, brilliant things, and would just want to shine a light on it however I could.
Yeah, we're fortunate, aren't we?
We are.
To know these artists and to be able to work with them.
Yeah. Addy and I were just talking about that before. So this is kind of a great transition, too. You talked about comedy. You just referenced, kind of how special the town is and that kind of stuff. So Managing Director of Godfrey Daniels, Ramona LaBarre, thank you so much. And everybody get out there and support the organization in any ways that you're able to. Volunteering is another way to do it. If the other stuff isn't there for you, you can always volunteer your time. That's always huge as well.
Have fun with us.
Yeah, and then now we're going to bring up Ryan Hill and Addy Teal Young. Did I get it right? Yep. Nice. ArtsQuest, programming department. While you guys are changing out chairs, the one thing I'm going to do is bring up the weather here, because we do have this one little... This is straight from Bobby Martrick at EPA Weather Authority for Musikfest, because he's the official prognosticator, chief meteorologist. And so you can see up there the hourly. It's showing you a threat of isolated thunderstorms between 7, 8, and 9. I always check in with him on this because weather is fickle. And so he told me that his guess now would be somewhere around 6. Based on the movement he's seeing, but it would be a relatively quick in and out and wouldn't wash out the whole night. So around 6, keep an eye to the sky, but hopefully we get that, the luck of the Bethlehem area sometimes just gets these magical breaks in the storms, and it's raining everywhere else but not on Musikfest.
Don't jinx us, Phil.
No, hey, listen, it is what it is, but we'll just... Again, hope that doesn't happen. But so 6 o'clock around that time is what he thinks, but it could obviously happen whenever weather is weather. But thank you to Bobby for that. Each day we'll check in when there's a need. Like I said, like tomorrow and Sunday seem like they're just gorgeous days, so we won't have to kind of check in on that. Like, yep, still gorgeous. Don't need to worry about that. But anytime there is, because he said Monday there's a chance of rain, and then the next Friday as well. So we've got to keep an eye on that and make sure people are safe and as dry as possible, but still having fun. Anyway, thank you. Ryan Hill, Senior Director of Programming. Did I get that right?
Yep.
And Addison Teal Young.
That's me.
And I saw programming specialist,
Yes.
and comedy and cinemas? Or is that like an older thing?
It's programming specialist with comedy and experiential.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple different topics to touch on, and feel free to use the headphones, but you don't need to. I mean, they're there if you prefer, but we're not going to be playing anything over here anymore. Basically, I heard last year, which probably wasn't the first year, but this first year I became more aware of it, where there was a lot of effort to make sure we had accessibility and inclusion zones for things, whether that was wheelchair accessibility, sign language interpretation, and the areas for sensory where you needed it to be a little bit either quieter or less people or whatever, so that in case people just had a need or had a child who had a need, they could go to those spaces and have that done. So I just wanted to kind of shine a light on that, and then also here, it sounded like there were some new things for this year, and then maybe even some prep for next year, so I'll let you guys take it from there.
Sure. One of the new things for this year that we're particularly excited about is on the Levitt Pavilion, the America Platz. We have a listening lounge that the Accessible Festivals has put together, and this listening lounge basically allows for people who are hearing impaired to still experience the music. There's these I think they're called sub packs. They're wearable pieces of technology that allow you to feel the music in a way, and so to be able to experience it, to still kind of be part of that. So that listening lounge is there for the entirety of the festival. Right. So and anybody can stop by and do that.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger new things. We've also we are Leah Barron, who heads up Accessible Festivals. She has been our accessibility advisor throughout this year, and she's been leading a task force that will be kind of going through Musikfest 2023 to make a lot of recommendations Musikfest 2024.
That's awesome.
We've already incorporated some things, like you'll notice at a lot of platzes there's a grass mat that allows wheelchairs to access those stages much better than maybe they had been able to in the past. Our inclusion zones are going, those have carried over for the past few years or so. Our north side one is pretty much every day from 12 to 8, and then our south side one is on the Saturdays and Sundays from 12 to 8. And this, I'm kicking myself for not knowing the specifics on this off the top of my head, but I know that in the Musikfest Cafe on the 6th and the 7th, we have some programming specifically for hearing impaired individuals.
Is this Signtastic?
Yes, yes, thank you. Signtastic, that's it.
Yes.
So that will be there.
Looks like 7:30 on the 6th and 5 p.m. on the 7th.
Yes. Yeah.
So there you go.
Thank you very much for pulling that up. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's kind of our rundown of what we've got. Did I leave anything out?
I think that's the main bullet points,
The deaf and hard of hearing thing reminds me of when I was in college, a good friend of mine took me to a Grateful Dead show. And their uncle was in a group called the Deaf Heads. So it was a whole group of individuals who were either deaf or hard of hearing. And the Grateful Dead supported them to giving them like access to a certain section where they were closest to the speakers. And then they handed around like beach balls and stuff, because then you could just feel the vibrations through the ball.
Oh, wow.
It was very, very cool to watch.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool things to watch at a Grateful Dead show, but that was in particular just because we were also somewhat connected to it. That's who actually got us like the ability to even purchase tickets and that kind of stuff. So it was just very, very cool to have that experience. It was very neat. But again, kudos to you all for recognizing that area of improvement potentially and kind of attacking it. And it's really cool to see.
We have, again, Accessible Festivals, their role in this has been paramount. It all started with, working with them on a Musikfest Cafe show, talking about a little bit more. And then, accessibility has been a big topic at ArtsQuest for many years now. And so that and safety are kind of our number one is safety, number 1A is accessibility, as far as making sure that those are our priorities for the festival.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. It's definitely it's apparent the intentional acts there. It's very, very cool. And did I hear too? There's one of those inclusion zones or what have you is it's far from the Festplatz stage, but you'll be able to put on headphones and listen to Festplatz stage?
Yes, so I'm pretty sure that we've got that going on. So it's not terribly far. It's across the creek in
But you're not in that
Platz. But you're not right there.
hot, sweaty
exactly
pile of humans.
So if you want,
which again, a lot of people are into that, but a lot of people probably want to be into the music, but can't be that. Yeah.
This year the temperatures are down. I don't know how hot they'll be. They'll be sweaty, but they won't be hot. Yes. But yeah, they you will be able to put on headphones and hear whatever they basically have these great headphones at the inclusion zones that have multiple channels. One of the channels will be whatever the closest stage is. Another channel will be kind of like calming ocean sounds, something like that, or another would just be kind of like white noise. They're fantastic, and it's just a great way to disconnect or connect in a way that might be better suited for your needs.
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, the people manning those areas, or making sure that that's getting taken care of, are doing great work. So maybe even just go give them a high five or something because they're doing amazing things. Yeah. But the other side of this is you're both involved in the comedy offerings yourselves. You're both comedians, right?
I was.
Yeah. You're being funny or
no?
Because that would have been a hilarious way to go about that.
Now you see why I'm not anymore.
I still am.
Yes. The offerings there have also, it was there and then was it gone during COVID? Like when the festival started coming back, like was the Comedyplatz still a part of things when we first came back?
That's a great question that I feel like COVID brain deleted.
I don't think we did Comedyplatz in 2021.
No.
Okay.
I don't think we did.
Yeah. But anyway, let's just say this. It's back and better than ever.
Yeah.
Because there's offerings each night of each weekend.
Yes.
And then there's a special one for members only, so another push for a nonprofit that could benefit from membership. You get perks with membership.
Totally do.
And it's like a headliner that's, So anyway, let's let you talk about that. Talk about the comedy offerings.
Why don't you take it?
Sure. So yeah, Comedyplatz is super exciting. We're over at the Ice House, and we have comedians coming from here in the Valley, from New York, from Philly. We even have a comedian coming in from Canada this year. So it's a great time to see just so many different performers.
I should be able to pull that up. Keep talking, and I'll see if I can just bring that up so it's a reference for people to look at.
Yeah, so definitely come check us out at the Ice House. And then what's cool too is on our 4:30 shows on the Saturdays, those are family-friendly shows.
Yep.
So as a person who, grew up on comedy and didn't always have as much access to it, because sometimes comedians say bad words, you can come to the family-friendly
Sometimes
show.
not always, right? Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes not always.
So here it is. Friday, August 4th, 7 and 9:30. August 5th, 4:30 is the family-friendly option, and then 7 and 9:30. Friday the 11th, 7 and 9:30, and then Saturday, same thing, 4:30 family-friendly, 7 and 9:30.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing over at Comedyplatz, and then we are also doing comedy shows over on the south side as well, so in the Red Cinema.
Oh, that's right.
Come over and check that stuff out. We have tonight, we'll be doing a fun show that we do regularly at Steel Stacks, improvised stand-up, where we give comics prompts, some predetermined by myself and co-host Anthony DeSanctis, and then others we get from the audience. And then, as the title states, they have to improvise that stand-up on the spot based off of those prompts. We always have a really fun time with that show. Then we've got the sequel show, which is Anthony's show there. They improvise sequels to movies that don't have them. So a really fun show with that. And then we've got Improv Group. I'm in that one on next Friday. Synced Up and We're Good, You're Great. Another two teams that we perform regularly at Steel Stacks. And then we have Swipe Right, the online dating game show. Host Aaliyah Brown. She takes real Hinge profiles, takes blanks out of them, and comedians fill in those blanks and vote on who did a better job on the profile.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So a lot of fun, a lot of comedy to come check out.
Amazing. And then there was, didn't you invent a comedy show as well, like a game show?
I did. We're not doing it. I should do that again. It was called I'm Probably Reading Into This, the game show of overanalysis. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're agonizing over that one.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think that the ability to offer all of these different options are tremendous because for some people, they want to come down to a festival, but they're not into music for 12 hours. But so maybe it would be like, oh, we'll go see music in the afternoon and comedy at night. Could be a nice thing.
Well, yeah, and the other nice thing is the Ice House is appropriately named. It is air conditioned.
Yes.
So if you are we've got plenty of people who come just to kind of beat the heat and take it. But yeah, so there's other benefits. But you'll catch a good show.
Yeah.
No matter
it's like
what,
certain rides at Disney, you just go in there because it's air conditioned.
Exactly.
I'm going inside.
Yeah.
But like you said, not quite as hot as it usually is for Musikfest, but still hot. I mean, it's still August.
Still summer.
Yeah, and so it will certainly be a nice break for people to go in and get some air conditioning. Both the cinemas are air conditioned as well as Ice House.
And the cinemas too, those shows happen after most of the main stage shows. So if you still need some time before you want to head home, want to not be in the traffic all leaving at once, come check out a comedy show first.
Totally. No, that's definitely a smart move. And then I definitely wanted to also promote Fig for a Kiss.
Yeah.
So you are a returning favorite for us.
Yeah, thank you.
One of our 18 bands that we interviewed, in our history that we're, able to say, hey, we had them on the show, and now they're back at Musikfest. So tell us about Fig for a Kiss and then when you're performing.
Yeah, so we're a local Celtic band. We're going to be performing at Platz August 7th on Monday at 6 p.m. So we're excited to be back. We've been playing as a trio for these last few years, and our fourth member, Casey, just got back from England.
So cool.
So we're excited to have her back. She'll be playing, I think, at least 2 numbers with us. So come
awesome.
say hi to her.
Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah, so it's Monday at, do you want me to?
At 6 p.m.
I figured you would know. I should have known off the top of my head, but 6 p.m. and the stage that you're on is Platz, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The brain works sometimes. But anything else to promote? Anything else that you want to make sure people are aware of for ArtsQuest? Maybe the membership. Like, there's a lot of perks to being a member, which includes things like, you get that shuttle from north side to south side for free. There's certain bathrooms that are member accessible. There's shorter lines at some of the bars. But there's lots of other cool things in there. Yeah, one of the things that we brought back from last year that we're doing under the experiential banner is on the night of the fireworks, we have something we call Sparklers and Sparkling Wines. And we partner with Jay Nee of Juniper and Grain, who's handpicked 4 different sparkling wines. And we have this section of the library, of City Hall, that area. It's a Platz, but there's a couple grassy sections that are definitely prime seating for the fireworks. And if you buy a ticket to this, you get to taste all those wines. You get a dessert from Dinky's Ice Cream Parlor. Like right across the street. Exactly. And then you also get exclusive access to this great party. Just bring a chair. And this is a ticketed thing. It is something that's on sale. If you go to musikfest.org and look up Sparklers and Sparkling Wines, you'll find it. It is ticketed, but you definitely get your money's worth as far as the experience and just being able to, again, this is what Jay does. He's an expert in this field, and last year we did this, and the wines were fantastic. So it's a great way to wrap up your Musikfest in kind of a nice chill way, and also there's always that rush to figure out where you're going to watch the fireworks from, and if you don't think of it enough ahead of time, then suddenly you're going to find nothing. You're in Easton hoping everything's going to work out. So that is a great spot to do that from. Yeah, no, that's a great perk there as well. So thank you for sharing that. And Ryan and Addy, thank you so much for sharing all of the very special details going on this year. And everybody go check out the comedies options there each weekend. It's very cool stuff. And also still free, part of the festival. Oh, yeah, completely free. Yeah, completely free. And the only one is that one member one, but go be a member. Yeah. Too many reasons to become a member. So anyway, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So we will now bring on our closing show music. I forgot to boot it up before, so I have to vamp. And
all right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
And so this closing music is Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, who I think have played at Musikfest about 9 years in a row, but are not playing this year, which just broke my heart. But there's plenty of other amazing bands that'll be out there. So please check out our the must-see bands each day. Our site, nextfaveband.com, does have everything that we've got kind of recommended for the week. But each day here, if you come into the daily live stream, you'll find our recommendations of the real fave of the day, plus the other 5 that we kind of think you should find time for. And then, like we said about weather, so for today, somewhere around 6 to 7. Bobby thinks there might be a threat of some storms, but it won't wash out the whole night if it does happen, and there's also a chance that it wouldn't happen at all. Then we want to thank Ramona and Godfrey Daniels for letting us kind of post up here all week, but also for coming on the show and sharing all the great details. Buy some raffle tickets, become a member, and get down there for the show on the 13th. Check out all that great music. It's during the festival, so it's free, and it's on that later Platz stage pretty much all day, starting at noon. And then thank you to Ryan and to Addy for coming on, talking about ArtsQuest. Be a member there too. This all comes with lots of great perks, obviously, but it also supports these wonderful organizations in our community. And then go out and check out the comedy offerings and get in the air conditioning. See you down at the festival.